Here's a theoretical question. When we first launched the YouTube monetization program, a lot of artists wrote and said, why would we want ads on our videos? Like, that's preventing people from getting to the music, that's what's important. So how do you both think about that?
I mean, as far as ads on the YouTube channel go, I say why not, you know? At least in my experience and from what I've seen working with a lot of independent musicians, you need every revenue stream that you can get. So, you know, in the beginning, with this one artist that I used to manage, we kind of shied away from it, you know, because we didn't necessarily want ads or whatever on the videos. But you know, you come to realize that every revenue stream matters, you know, especially being independent. So why not? You know, why wouldn't you?
I can speak to it as someone who watches YouTube avidly. I hate the stupid ads, but you know, as a person that is responsible for many assets and providing utility and revenue back to artists, I can say that in the aggregate, it's a very powerful complementary part of your economic portfolio if you do it right. So you can have your own channel and just say, well, this is where I want to direct everybody, that I just want to have a rich musical experience and have it be ad-free. And then also register your assets such that when anybody else uses it, there is an ad. So I think, you know, you can be sensitive to both strategies and do very well.
Sure. I mean, I kind of feel like you. Like, I suffer through it, and I feel like we've all got to understand that you know, money needs to be made from this. It can't just be free content. So that's the one way they found to get you some cash for it. So
sure. I mean, it's the penny waterfall. Why not just stand under it with a big net, catch them?
So maybe another thing we could get into now is sort of different kinds of content you could create for YouTube, and maybe actually before we get to that, let's talk about the importance of a schedule of content schedule, I guess. Why is that important, and how do you arrange it?
Well, you know, you have to remember that YouTube is just another part of your online presence. So you really need to coordinate your online presence, you know, all your social media and everything that you're doing. Of course, online needs to be planned out ahead. That's the, you know, usually that's the efficient way to do things. And anybody that I usually work with, we do that. We do what's called a content calendar. You know, excuse me, where, you know, once a month we plan out what we're going to talk about online for, you know, the next 30 days. And so you need to kind of see how YouTube fits into that. You know, ideally you should at least be doing something new, some sort of new video content once a month. You know, but of course we have jobs, you know, especially being independent, it's not necessarily easy to be creating video content all the time. So ideally, if we could at least get one new video a month, we do that. But this, like I said, this all plays into the bigger scheme of things, the bigger plan. What else are you going to be doing on social media? You know, Facebook, Twitter, all that other stuff. What else are you going to be doing? Can you generate more original video content? And I say original because, you know, as far as I'm a marketer, so I'm always thinking about, you know, branding and the artist to fan relationship and things like that. So that's why I say original. But, you know, can you commit to doing more than just one a month, realistically? And so you need to think about these things. And at the beginning of the month, you just lay out, take a paper calendar if you have to, or do it in a Google Doc, whatever. But in the beginning of the month, you need to plan out this content calendar. And so you need to know, okay, so on the 25th, I need to have a new video, right? So what does it go, what goes into making this new video? You know, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna shoot it? You know, how long is it gonna take you to actually edit and, you know, produce this video? And you coordinate that in your content calendar. So that's how really well-managed channels, you know, YouTube and social media, that's how these platforms are effectively managed, and there's constant stuff happening because you need to plan it out. beginning of the month, ideally.
So when you're saying one video a month as a bare minimum, like for anyone that's panicking and thinking they have to have like a high budget music video, that's not really what you're talking about.
No, not necessarily. There's lots of different types of video content that you can make. Of course, there's the music video, but you can also do things like album preview videos, which I'm a big fan of, where it's just if you have an album coming out, you basically just cut up, say it's a 10-track album, you just go in and take 30 to 45 second snippets of each track and cut it into one long track, and then add some type of video to it, maybe the cover art or whatever. But you preview the video, or you preview the album in this video. Of course, there's lyric videos. Maybe you do a review about a new piece of gear. Maybe you go to a show. Maybe you go to a show of some other artist that you're a big fan of, and you review the show, or you say, whatever. You had such a good time. This happened. That happened. But there's lots of different things that you can create. It's really up to you. Possibilities are endless, really.
Yeah, talking to the camera, your own live shows, a whole bunch of
Just think of it as an evolution of television, right? Television is programmed as intuitively as it possibly can to keep you coming back to the well. And that's what you want to think of when you're sort of curating your own channel. It's what kind of content engages people, and you can get some very rich data about this inside of your Google Analytics suite, including what types of ads create attrition, what types of ads are linked to what demographic, and all that stuff can be very, very powerful as you're creating a strategy on YouTube. Now, I'm not going to say that I believe that even 20% of you are going to become YouTube evangelists and go in there and do all that kinds of work. If you're naturally inclined to do that, those are the types of channels that you see really, really engaged fan interactions.
That made me think of one thing that's been on my mind recently, which is people that really look at analytics and make decisions based on that versus someone who's sort of totally instinctual. I feel like there's a correlation between, like, in my mind, I think of it as the YouTuber. Like, the YouTuber is someone who's putting out a video every week and really, really concentrating on that platform. Maybe not exclusively, but very heavily. And they are a YouTube personality or YouTube musician. And then there's kind of someone that I feel like I'm a musician and I have some videos on YouTube. Like, I'm not a YouTuber. I love it, but do you feel like either of those is a correct approach, or is it really just for the artist to decide?
Well, I think the difference is the main revenue stream. Like, you take somebody like a YouTuber, where that's what they do. They make videos, once a week, and that's their primary revenue stream. Whereas I think, at least, musicians should think of it as an additional revenue stream. But in order for it to actually create revenue for you, it does, of course, need to be managed. But to me, that's kind of the separation between a YouTuber like a Jenna Marbles or somebody like that, or a musician on YouTube. Is YouTube's Jenna Marbles like primary revenue stream, whereas with the musician, it's just additional revenue.
I'd agree. It's an ancillary part of your economic portfolio. One of the ways to do it passively is to team up with CD Baby and get your music into Rumblefish, where we just kind of get your music registered, and if anybody happens to use it, or if your music is used very regularly and you just want to capture that revenue that you would have otherwise left on the table, then that's kind of Mount Everest. It's like, my stuff's all over YouTube and I just want to profit from it. Well, that's easy. If you want to take a more, engaged, specific, curated approach to your channel, that's another way to do it. I think both really complement each other, and those of you who can match those two things in terms of their utility to you and your enthusiasm for doing them, are going to have good results.
Sure. And I think either way you go, it's important to have your channel looking as good as it can, whether you're putting out a video every week or one video a year, you still want your channel to look great. So how do you optimize your YouTube channel?
There's a lot that goes into it, but it's primarily it's about making it look good. So making sure you have updated channel art that is the correct dimensions. So if somebody goes to your channel, it looks right. Making sure that all the channel information is there, so the relevant links, the descriptions, all the stuff that goes along with setting up, kind of your what a user sees when they go to your channel. So making sure all that stuff's set up. And then you get into things like annotations, like cards. You mentioned cards before. You can do different things with your videos where you, of course, add annotations. And the metadata. So whenever you add a new video, making sure that you use keywords that are relevant, like you use Maine in the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So making sure you're doing things like that because you might be able to get additional views or additional subscribers for doing those things, and using at least on a per video basis, making sure that there's a description there and that it's relevant to the video. So even if it's like what Chris did, just writing things about where it was written and kind of having a clear description.
From a higher level, I mean, just the description of your channel itself. If you're someone who's actively working your channel, it could be as silly as my cat jumping out of a sombrero at YouTube, right? You want to say what that is. This is a weekly video of my cat doing stupid stuff. So for those of you who love cats, come back to this channel.
Yeah.
So just giving somebody an idea of who you are and what audience you're speaking to is powerful in getting them to say, oh, I found this channel that really speaks to something that I love, so I'm going to tell other people about this channel, and I have a way to describe it.
And the channel trailer can be perfect.
Playlisting your videos as well, so that one starts to play after the first one ends. Things like watch time. If you can keep people watching your content in YouTube, then it raises your results in the search engine. So it will become recommended content. It may make the front page of somebody's content feed.
To go back, you mentioned playlists, and like I was describing additional video content to make. So traditionally, if I'm managing a channel or I'm setting one up or whatever, I do these playlists. This is one of the first things that I do, is I create these playlists. So a lot of times, typically the playlists are official music videos, right? And then you could have another playlist that's gear reviews, but you lay them all out so that it's easy for people to find these things when they come to your channel.
Yeah, on your channel page, you use the sections feature to organize it like you're scrolling through Netflix or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you have any tips on end slates or the feature where you can choose a video of your own to have served up on other people's channels, or anything that artists? What are the kind of the extra goodies people can?
Well, to go back to Rhymesayers again, with the end slates, whenever they have an official music video, there's always another 10 seconds or so at the end with the album art and relevant links. So it's set up with annotations. So for the last 10 seconds, they say it's an official music video. In the last 10 seconds, they put the album art with the links, and they start to play the track over again. So you link to these people because if they watch the whole video, chances are they pretty much already like you. So you're ahead there. So you can kind of direct them to different places that you want. And in that case, link them to your CD Baby page or iTunes or whatever you want to do. But I'm a big fan of doing end slates.
And then YouTube will disable annotations, and your end slates will all be
They
pointless.
add and deprecate features capriciously, but
If they do that, though, you can just chop the ends of your videos within YouTube. So all 1,000 of your videos. created.